Hello and welcome to Wingin It, and welcome back to another game of Major League Wingspan as you join us in the final stretches of this regular season. Now in the real world, as I record this, I have finished all my games. I'm done with the regular season, and I know whether I make it through or not, but you are going to have to wait and watch these final few games. So I've got 3 games I've picked out from my final stretch that I think were particularly interesting ones for me to watch back and post commentate here. So yeah, as I said at the start of this regular season, try to mix it up a little bit with the different commentary styles. And yeah, hopefully by watching this back, giving some insight into my thoughts and my decision making as those points of the game come up, you can gain some insights there. You can maybe learn a little bit and hopefully enjoy watching what I think were a few particularly interesting games. So yes, in the last video, we did get a win. We managed to get back onto a winning record of 12 and 11, but plenty more wins certainly needed in this final stretch if we're going to be getting a spot in the playoffs to find ourselves in that next round. So you join us here in this game. We're going first. So let's take a look and see what we've got in the starting hand. And oh boy, is it a good one. We've got Yellow-Headed Blackbird. We've got Orderwind Skull. Got the start of a very, very nice full tuck. And obviously I'm going to check the tray, and actually we don't even need this Blackbird because we've got an upgrade. We've got Bioweaver there. So, oh boy, is this a good start. 2 very, very good birds going together there. Bioweaver, obviously tuck up to 3 cards, get the egg, really, really strong, but you need extra cards to tuck to really maximize the potential of that. And that's where Orderwind Skull comes in so nice. With that really strong brown power, where you not only get a tuck, but you get another card as well, which can then be tucked on the Bioweaver. So yeah, got clear direction, I think, in this situation. So you do have another nice bird here in the Golden Pheasant, which can be quite a fun one to play turn 1, obviously before your opponent gets a chance to get any birds down. But in this situation, I've got to be taken Bioweaver, and that's going to sort me out for eggs, so I don't really need to worry about this Golden Pheasant. So yeah, only thing on my mind really is, you know, do I keep the Blackbird just as another option to really build this wetlands out later in the game once I've got obviously the Bioweaver and the Orderwind Skull in. But you know, food is precious, and by just keeping the Orderwind Skull here, see with that starting nectar, I get 4 other foods, so 5 in total. I can get these 2 birds down super quickly here, and yeah, don't need to worry about going and taking food, don't need to worry about specific grabbing nectar, rerolls, whatever it may be. So yeah, nice and simple, nice and clean. And yeah, first few turns here, I say, should be pretty straightforward. Just being able to grab the Weaver, get that in, draw some cards, get the tuck and the egg, and then get the Orderwind Skull in, and then it's just such a strong start. We're going to be seeing so many cards, and obviously if they're good cards, we can keep those, we can get food and play them, and hopefully more tucking birds will come up to build out in this wetlands, get a really, really nice engine going. But equally, if we're not drawing good stuff, it's all points. It's all going to be turned into tucks. And yeah, that's just going to be such a nice situation for us to be in this early game. So yeah, on to our first turn here. As I say, no great surprise. We're going to be grabbing Bioweaver and instantly revealing what we would very much have liked to add to this wetlands in the Housefinch. And it's alongside Willy Wagtail, so I would be in this situation very much expecting my opponent to go for both of those. And maybe start a nice forest engine with the Willy Wagtail, getting some card access there, and the Housefinch being able to tuck and draw, so you can maybe pick up some nice birds in the tray, and that's exactly what they've gone and done. So yeah, obviously a nice nice start for me, but it's going to be a nice start for my opponent as well. So yeah, Bioweaver in. I say no great surprise, and Willy Wagtail in for my opponent, also no great surprise. So time to go drawing, time to start. Yeah, picking up some cards, doing some tucks, and yes, just scoring points. You know, already scoring 3 points there, but it's going to get even better once this Orderwind Skull goes in as well, and just adds yeah, another layer of interest into this wetland. So that's going to be so nice. And then I'd say from there, it's just about digging. It's just about seeing what we can find. And yeah, there's plenty more tucking birds in the deck. There's plenty more to find. So obviously a big deck now. This is with the British Birds pack and all the expansions, so we've got well over 400 cards to be playing around with. But there's still enough in there, and we're going to be seeing lots of cards, so I feel optimistic that we can find some of those. But for now, we're getting European Honey Buzzard, which I don't mind at all as a play in this early game here. Nice teal power. Hits my bonus card, of course, Large Bird Specialist. And, you know, getting some passive food generation is the one thing I have missing from this setup. I've got the cards, of course. I've got the tucks coming through and the eggs through the Bioweaver, but definitely short food, definitely missing out there. So bird like Honey Buzzard, being able to get that in, that certainly feels like a nice option to have. So, of course, my opponent did go and play the Housefinch there, and hey, suddenly maybe we have got some food access coming our way with this black-chinned hummingbird. So going to keep hold of that as well. And yeah, you know, if Honey Buzzard, if I'm going to maybe try and play that this round, if that can get me just the one worm in order to play that black-chinned hummingbird, I don't mind giving away free food here to my opponent when they're going forest. And obviously food like berries, not really the most useful to go with either. So yeah, I can try and make do with that. I can try and maybe force some stuff down, but it's not like I'm giving away something really, really valuable to my opponent. So we go and grab the food for this Honey Buzzard. I think that's going to be the one to get that down here in this first round. As I say, just hopefully let that do its job. Let that get me some worms in each of the next few rounds and get myself going in this game. But meanwhile, my opponent using the Willy Wagtail, doing these tray resets. And yes, that was a Franklin Skull that's come up. So that may be a particularly nice one to go and play in the grasslands. Get even more cards coming through. The Star Nest, I'm sure, will come in handy for these end of round goals. And so another point of why Bioweaver is so powerful here is that we're going to be qualifying for those egg end of round goals, which can be quite difficult in a Wetlands engine. We're going to be qualifying for them without even really having to think about it, without having to try. And yeah, we're going to pick up points that way. So obviously not expecting to score too many points across end of round goals. This first one, fortuitously, we will be picking up points just by virtue of the birds we played. But probably for the remainder of this game, yeah, end of round goals, nectars as well, we're really going to struggle against the forest engine. But that's where these birds are hopefully going to do the business with these tucks. So we do use the Honey Buzzard. Get the one worm, which I was hoping for more. I definitely wanted more than that as a bit of a safety net. But yeah, one is at least something. It's at least enough where, so if I do want to play this black-chinned hummingbird, I can afford to. I don't have to spend a turn taking food. And every turn that I save here by not having to take food, by not having to lay eggs, it's another turn I can run this engine later in this game and score 5 points, 6 points, hopefully more than that if we can get more tucking birds in. So yeah, still thinking about this hummingbird. As I could go and play that, but I'm sort of hoping that just by looking at cards, by drawing, I can see something, maybe a different hummingbird, or maybe something that's going to give me different food, or maybe a nice alternative food source, which could be that frigate bird as an option. Now, we do have this lyrebird as well, which, you know, potentially an option there to go and use that in the forest. But yeah, I think frigate bird here as the food generator, yeah, feels like a nice option here. And enough for me to just go ahead and get rid of the black-chinned hummingbird. So another large bird, big pointer as well, 9 points. And potentially one here that my opponent's not going to be able to use too much with no birds in the wetlands. Obviously, that frigate bird can help out other players, but here, not really seeming to be the case. So do keep the two grass encounters here. We've got the pink power in the cuckoo, the teal power in the magpie. Just trying to keep my options open. I know I could tuck stuff later if I change my mind. You know, I'm not drawing so much that I'm automatically going to be left with extra cards here. So by skipping a tuck, it's not really too big of a deal here. And yeah, just keep my options open where maybe those will come in handy if my opponent really goes hard in this grasslands, get lots of birds down, and is going to spam that later in the game for points. I can try and pick up some points of my own in return for that. So yeah, we did go get food, got the nectars that we needed for this frigate bird. And yeah, I think I'm going to play it, but also I think I've got to block this desert wheat here, which, yeah, feels like it would be a very, very nice one for my opponent. In that grassland, super strong, being able to get more food, more nectar as well, in particular. So, yeah, going to block that. I'm going to grab Blue-winged Warbler, which, honestly, don't mind that. Don't mind that at all as a nice play maybe later on. We are going to have to think about egg space. We are going to have to think about birds being played. And, yeah, if Honey Buzzard is going to do its job at this game, we're going to get some worms coming through. And Blue-winged Warbler is a nice, easy place. So we swap that out for the Magpie. I'm thinking at this stage, probably if I'm going to play either one of those counters, I'm not going to play both. I'm not going to have the time or the food to do that. And the Cuckoo feels more suitable, given that eggs are going to be needed now with this frigate bird going in. So, yeah, nice power to have, I say, in this situation where I know I can benefit from that, being able to discard eggs, get some food through in this wetlands. My opponent is not going to, however, they are going to play Hooper Swan, which, yeah, if you saw, most recent video before this one was a very nice Hooper Swan engine of my own in the grassland, so I know very well firsthand just how powerful that bird can be in that situation. And of course, with Franklin's Gull getting card access alongside it, that definitely feels like an engine that could be used quite aggressively as this game goes on. So definitely glad I kept hold of this Cuckoo. Definitely glad that, yeah, I can try and, you know, get some points out of this, where my opponent is going to go and use this wetlands a lot. I can really make sure that I am also benefiting and, yeah, getting the points through. So we're going to keep drawing. Not go for this Silver Eye now. I'm sure there's some of you watching along probably thinking, go for the Silver Eye, throw the nectar around. I don't really necessarily want to do that here. It feels quite risky. You know, I know my opponent has got strong food access and I don't necessarily have the same level. But I just sort of think giving nectar away in a game like this is just always, it's always risky. I feel like it never ends particularly well. And if I'm really thinking about this game, with the number of cards I'm seeing, the amount I'm going to be drawing, I'm looking for point scorers at this point. I'm looking for more, you know, maybe a bush tip, another tuck and lay in there. Obviously more tuck and draws, as I've already said, would be very, very nice. For now, we're just picking up all the worm eaters, which can't complain too much. Those are going to come in handy as nice plays, yeah, with these honey buzzard worms that I'm certainly expecting to receive as the game plays on. But for now, we've got to play a bird. Going to be Bell's Vireo. Going to see what the bonus card is, and it's Bird Bander, which I don't hate that. I say Blue-winged Warbler, already thinking about playing that at some point later in the game, and it's going to work very nicely for that. So we're zooming through that TL activation. Again, just the one worm from the honey buzzard, so I really want more than that at this stage of the game, but I'll take what I'm getting. And yeah, be glad that I'm at least getting something, and that is going to help as this game plays out. So we're going to pick up a couple of nice birds there, actually. I mean, Australian Raven and Malifaux both hit both of my bonus cards, being large birds and living in multiple habitats. And we do already have quite a few ground nests down, so Malifaux could be a nice option to go with. And yeah, Australian Raven, you know, we do get a nice big hit on Honey Buzzard in that last round. It's a great way of turning those extra food, which otherwise wouldn't be doing anything, turn those into points. So yeah, it's an option. I say at this stage of the game, I'm still hoping for another wetland bird, another tucking bird in there, but it's all about keeping options open. It's all about keeping flexibility, keeping yeah, different available choices, and another one's come up in the Eastern Imperial Eagles, so we'll pick that up, and we're going to get Great Indian Bustard alongside it. So we're getting lots and lots of large birds, so I'm definitely glad I picked that bonus card at the start. But you see, we have to skip lots of tucks because we've drawn all this good stuff, and yeah, still haven't really pushed out the card access to the next level here. We're basically tucking everything we draw, or in these cases even less than that. And yeah, if we are going to go with this Eastern Imperial Eagle, which I feel like is normally a good play, especially with large birds, especially when food is scarce in a game like this, I'm going to need more cards. I'm going to need, yeah, to be keeping some cards from somewhere in order to go with that. So my opponent, of course, found the nice tuck and lay bird in the blackbird, but I'm ready to counter. It's time for the pink power, get the cuckoo in, and yeah, especially good timing, knowing that my opponent's about to go and lay eggs. We've got the cup nests out, we've got the star nests, and yeah, we're going to be able to pick up more eggs, which is really important because at this stage of the game, and I want to play all these birds, you know, in this wetlands, I get an egg from the weaver, but I discard one with the frigate bird, so I need eggs from somewhere else if I'm going to have extra eggs in order to play some birds. So very well timed cuckoo. It's going to, yeah, definitely do a solid job throughout the rest of this game, starting right now with a egg coming through there. So very nice. And yeah, we come through into our turn, and it's going to be more drawing, no surprises. Keep on digging, keep on drawing, keep on using this frigate bird, grabbing some nectar, which, as said earlier, you can sometimes struggle with nectar when you're going for a wetlands engine against the forest, but we're actually doing all right here. We're picking up plenty of it, and we're picking up more pink powers as well in this violet cuckoo. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I've got enough large birds, maybe I've got enough bird band of birds where I don't need to worry about Australian ravens. So I'm going to commit, get rid of that, do the tuck. And yeah, violet cuckoo, say, could be an option here if I'm maybe thinking in that last round. You know, it might depend what my opponent does with these last couple of turns. If they're going to play more point scorers in the grasslands, more brown powers, and I can see that they're clearly lining up for an egg spam at the end, and more grassland birds going in, not a brown power, but San Martin, a very nice one. That could well push me into playing violet cuckoo here. We've certainly got the egg spaces to benefit from that, but equally we've got other birds to play. We've got other nice ones, which, you know, we do need for the bonus cards here. So that is going to be some interesting decision points, I think, especially with that Great Indian Bustard. I'm going to want to play that, and I'm going to want to maximize off that. So probably looking at trying to maximize large birds, play Bustard, which of course qualifies for that bonus card itself, being able to score it twice, get all those caches through. That feels like the big play that I'm building up to towards the end of this game. So yeah, got to be careful here. Not many turns left in the game coming through to the final round. Got to really count my food, and a little bit tricky because Honey Buzzard is of course such an unknown entity. I don't know if that's going to get me any food, if it's going to get me 5 worms, somewhere in between. That could well change things, so I have got to think carefully in that sense about which of these birds I want to play. But for now, I think Malafal feels like a solid choice. It feels like a nice one to be able to get in here, spend a little bit more nectar in this forest, so push that out. And, you know, it's our only bird that we've played that has a big pointing left, so we are getting on the board for the centre of round goal, which is important. But that yellow power, I think, will come in handy. We've already got a few ground nests down. I know I'm going to want to play that Great Indian Bustard, which, of course, is a ground nest as well. So, yeah, lower bound on large birds, and now I know if I play the eagle, if I play the Indian Bustard, I'm going to be maxed out very nicely. So, Honey Buzzard, absolute disappointment here. No worms, which is a big shame. That's really cost me here, and it's not been that useful for me in this game. You know, I paid 2 food for it, and it's only got me 2 worms across 3 rounds. So, as good as everything else has got in this game, Honey Buzzard definitely letting me down. But the good news is we have still got enough turns, enough resources to do the things that I want to do in this game, which, as I say, is going to be playing those 2 birds in the grasslands. But yeah, a bit of a weird wetlands. We started off so well with the Bioweaver all the way in his gull. Obviously, Frigate Bird was nice, but I really was expecting to find more tucking birds. I really was expecting to find more things to add in this wetlands, given how many cards I was seeing, given how aggressively I was drawing. But they didn't come up, and that's what happens sometimes in this game. You can't necessarily expect the things to go your way, and you've got to be ready to react, and you've got to be ready to do different things. And it's kind of what I've had to do here. Play the pink power, the cuckoo, which has been nice. So play the Malafal here, and yeah, set myself up for 2 nice big point plays late in this game. So we'll see how this final round plays out. We'll see what my opponent's got planned. You know, it's a nice grasslands, but we are picking up points from that. They're getting some nice birds down. Saw Manx Shearwater, a big point play. I'm sure there will be more to come as well. And yeah, with lots of nectar in the feeder, going to be grabbing some of that and spending that and trying to swing some points their way as well. So only so much that we could do in reaction to that. As I say, probably my my final few turns are planned out here. So yeah, it's going to be unfortunate if we maybe aren't going to hit Bird Bander, you know, just missing up on that by 1. If more worms had come through and I'd be able to play, yeah, that Blue and Warbler, that would have been nice. But eggs also proving to be a bit of a problem here. You know, we're going to need 2 eggs to actually play those 2 grassland plays. But we're going to also need an egg to actually qualify for this end of round goal. So things are tight, and I am really going to be hoping that my opponent lays eggs a couple of times in this final round in order to support me there, because otherwise, yeah, I'm going to have a difficult decision to make. You know, maybe I have to prioritize taking the end of round goal points. Maybe I'm going to not be able to play some of these birds. Maybe I will play them, but I have to, you know, forego those 4 points, which is a big amount of points to give up at the end of the game. So yeah, there's going to be some little things here and there that could potentially make a difference in this game that, again, Honey Buzzard will have not helped me with. But yeah, more birds going down. Little Grebe, not the best, but it's another star nest, so probably for a bonus card, or certainly helping the centre round goal for my opponent. We get Little Penguin come up, which I'd have loved that earlier. That would have been a great one to add into this wetlands, but as I say, at this stage of the game, a little bit too late, a little bit too expensive. We've got other birds to be playing. So yeah, we do tuck, but still picking up points. It's only a 4-point engine, this wetlands. You know, we're getting 4 tucks and an egg, but we're discarding an egg. So if I compare that to my opponent's grasslands here, it's night and day. They're scoring, you know, pretty much double that with all these tucks, all these eggs coming through. So definitely feel like I had the quicker start. Got off very, very nicely getting that wetlands going, but my opponent has been slowly clawing things back with these big point plays, you know, with all these tucking birds coming through and all these eggs being laid as well. But we need the benefit of those eggs coming our way as well, and they do indeed, yeah, start to come towards us as well here. So probably last turn drawing here, just to get the final nectar that I need to do the big point plays that I want to do. More big point birds coming up, but yeah, say too late here. I think they are going to get tucked. I think if there was something here that maybe hit Bird Bander, I might have considered going for that, but yeah, food was always going to be a problem here. And yeah, got to skip 1 tuck, got to keep 1 bird back if we are going to do play of the Eastern Imperial Eagle. So yeah, just checking things over, just, you know, checking my sums, doing some counting again, you know, maybe thinking, is it actually worth it to try and get the Blue-winged Warbler in? But again, food is tricky here, and I've already sort of committed by keeping these birds back that, you know, playing East Imperial Eagle is going to be a nice one, big points. But yeah, seems like my opponent maybe it's just eggs from here on in, you know, with all of these egg spaces available, you know, not much food, maybe not finding those big point birds that we've stumbled into. Maybe it is just going to be laying eggs, but as I say, it's a strong engine with all those tucks, all the Hooper Swans. So definitely feeling a bit nervous, especially seeing, you know, the nectar points going their way. Hoping to maybe make a dent on that at the end here, but it's not really going to be doing too much. And East Imperial Eagle, of course, no nectar spent on that, but we do get big points. So that is a nice play here in this situation. But yeah, all building up. A bit of a crescendo to our last play, as it often is with the Great Indian Bustard, where you get it in late, pick your best bonus card, which is going to be a nice one here for us, Large Bird Specialist. And we're going to get some hashes coming our way for that. So yeah, it's time for the Indian Bustard. And there we go, very nice score for Large Bird. So as I say, a bit of a shame, Bird Bander couldn't quite manage that, but very, very minimalistic board, very much not too many birds down. And yeah, we're going to get a few more eggs through off this Malifaux. So as I say, didn't do too well on the nectars. We're going to skip through to the final scores here. And we're going to see how this plays out. Obviously, not great bonus card for us, but 0 for my opponent. So that's helpful to see. Obviously, eggs, you know, they're going to claw it back a little bit. They will have had plenty of tucks, but we know with the Bioweaver, with the Orderwin Skull, that was where we were strong as well, 47. So even losing a few nectar points here, it is enough. We are going to hold on for the win here. 129 is the final score up against 106. So yeah, a bit of a strange game. Didn't really play out maybe how I would have expected. Certainly had in mind that this was just going to be pure wetlands, pure tucking, but didn't turn out that way. That's how this game goes sometimes. If you don't find the birds that are going to synergize with what you want to do, then you've got to think on your feet and you've got to play a little bit differently. And that's what we kind of had to do here, play some slightly different birds. Obviously the pink power and the cuckoo was really nice, helping with the end of round goals, just getting eggs through to actually play the birds that we needed to do at the end of the game. And then yeah, such solid plays. As I say, Eastern Imperial Eagle, Great Indian Bustard, really, really nice for us. So yeah, a bit of a strange game, but definitely a fun one, and hopefully an enjoyable one for you to watch as well. So yeah, not long to go this regular season. I've got 2 more games to feature for you on this channel, so if you want to see those and see if I've got what it takes to get through into the playoffs, then make sure you subscribe, make sure you are following along, tuning in, and I hope to see you in another game very soon.